I do have. I previously worked as a technical support, as
Mm-hmm.
a customer support.
Mm-hmm.
So I was worked on client operating system issues, means troubleshooting the issues.
So all those troubleshootings will be on the physical machines or the for the virtual machines?
Physical machine, yes, means we are taking remotely to use a customer laptop and we are resolving the issue. It's a Windows 10, like Windows client OS, not the server level.
Okay. And what is your overall experience?
Now I have a 4 year experience.
Okay. Do you have any idea what is Citrix and how it works?
Yeah, I have idea about that.
Mm-hmm. Can you please try to explain?
Yes, Citrix is a company that providing the visual apps and desktop to users.
Mm-hmm.
It's like visual apps and desktop, apps and desktop,
Mm-hmm.
where user can take virtual machines
Okay.
and applications they can access through Citrix, means
Okay. So
workspace or receiver.
basically, Citrix is a company located headquarters in US, Florida, and it is most popular for two products in virtualization. And these product names are Citrix Virtual Apps and Virtual Desktop. So
Yes.
earlier those products were known as GenApp and Gen Desktop, but after the release of a 7.xx version, they guys renamed their product from GenApp Gen Desktop to Citrix Virtual Apps and Virtual Desktop. So this is a kind of basic definitions. It is most popular for these two things. Earlier it was GenApp and Gen Desktop. Now they guys renamed their product to Virtual Applications and Virtual Desktop in Citrix.
Okay.
Coming next, like how Citrix works, right? So how users can access their virtual machines or applications, whatever the resource be published to the end user, right? So you can see the left hand part. This is the end user device, means it could be a mobile phone, laptop, desktop, anything, right? And in this particular device, what we have to do, we have to install one application which is known as Citrix Workspace application or Citrix Receiver. We have to install in every end user device. And after that, what user has to do, user just has to enter our storefront URL. So basically, storefront is nothing. It is just a web page for end users. So it is it will be your company web page or maybe your data center web page, anything. Okay, so we have to create the website and user can access that website with the help of storefront server. And after that, storefront web page, it will ask end user to enter the credentials, whatever the credentials we have given to our end users. And then that particular query goes to the delivery controller. So basically delivery controller, it is a mastermind of the data center. It is a core component, and delivery controller once receive that query for authentication, it will automatically forward the query to Active Directory server. Why? Because Active Directory server, it is a component who is responsible to validate the credentials, right? Because we always create user accounts and computers in Active Directory server. So once delivery controller get the validation from Active Directory server, like credentials are fine, then it will simply forward the query to SQL server. Why? Because SQL server, it is a database. So it will check into the database like which virtual machine or which application is published for that particular user. Once it will get the information from the database, it will forward the query to the our hypervisor on which all the virtual machines or desktop or servers are hosted. And our hypervisor, it will turn on the virtual machines, and on the next page, user will get the one icon for their application on the next page. And once user double click on that icon, it will download one ICA file. ICA file is nothing. ICA file .ica file, it is an extension for workspace app, and workspace app launch the session with the help of that ICA file. So left hand side is your end user device. In between we are having one firewall, and that right hand part, it is your data center where each and every component are hosted. And basically the above three tools. So Citrix Studio, what it is? It is a centralized management console. With the help of that console, you can manage the entire data center operation. Director, it is a web page. It is used to troubleshoot the issue in virtual machines. Means if any user is complaining like he is unable to access the virtual machine, in that case, we can use Citrix Director for troubleshooting perspective. And license server, it is responsible to allocate the license to the virtual machines. Any doubt here in this?
No.
So what we will do, we will cover each and every component step by step. It is just a kind of a network diagram of the data center operations, how it works, right?
Yep.
So coming to the layers in Citrix we are having 5 layers. You have nothing to do with end user device. Your IT engineers will install that, or your desktop engineers will install that Citrix workspace application along with Google Chrome or any web browser. That is the only thing that need to do in end user devices. Okay, that is not our part. Okay, that has been taken care by the desktop support engineers or any other IT team, right? Our major part is that this is a data center. So in data center, the major layer is hardware layer. Why? Because it is a strong it is a server with strong configurations, right? Like 1000 GB of RAM and processor with multiple cores, graphic cards or storage in petabyte or terabyte maybe, right? So on this single hardware, what we do, we simply install hypervisor as an operating system on that physical machine directly. Just like you install Windows 10 or Windows 11 in your laptop, na, in a same way, on this server, we have to install the hypervisor directly as an operating system. You will get one ISO media from the hypervisor. On that hypervisor, you can install that on that hardware, you can install the hypervisor, and after that, you can create the n number of virtual machine on that single hardware. It's totally up to the count, like how many virtual machines you can create. It's totally up to the hardware configurations what you have. Okay, so this is every server, every file storage, every components are hosted on hardware layer only, right? And apart above the hardware layer, we are having access layer. Access layer, why? Because users are entering with the help of access layer only, because in access layer we are having the storefront, which is a landing page for end user, and Citrix ADC, it's act as a firewall or load balancer. In the control layer, it is a collection of the servers which is controlling our data center operations. Delivery controller, domain controller, it is an active directory server. SQL server for database, license is for license, and file server, it is a storage, like shared storage on which you can host your, or you can store your virtual machines. Now coming to the resource layer, it is a collection of virtual machines or the servers which we are going to publish to our end users. Okay, any doubt here?
So as this Citrix ADC and this NetScaler is like the same kind of thing.
Yeah, same thing. Earlier it was known as NetScaler. Now the guys renamed it to Citrix ADC. Okay. So that is not for you. That because this is a kind of lab setup, how to set up the lab, those kind of things, not with the interview preparation kind of things. Now coming here. So this is a kind of data center, how every data centers looks like, and how many virtual machines that I have already created or you have to create whenever you are going to plan your own lab, right? So first server will be the first server will be the domain controller, and the hostname I given to this machine is DC. RAM 2 GB is fine for domain controller, and that is my domain name techmtech.com. In your case, you can create any domain name, right? Second machine, it is our core server of Citrix, and on that server only we will install all the core component of Citrix like storefront, then your studio, then uh, your VDA agent, each and every component we will install on this server. And these two servers are the hypervisors. On those hypervisors, what we will do, we will host our virtual machines. Each and every virtual machine will be created on the hypervisors only. So why I picked up two hypervisor? Why? Because if one goes down into the operation, in that case, we can easily switch all the operation to the second hypervisor. And these two end user, these are the end user machines with Windows 10 operating system, and we will test our deployment as an end user with the end user machines, right? So after creation, we have to create two more virtual machine for testing purpose. Now coming here, requirement. So basically, requirement, the basic skills that I need, like from you, like some basic knowledge of Windows Server, like Active Directory, DHCP, and how to create the users, how to join the machines into the domain, and some basic networking knowledge like what is DHCP and what is DNS. Coming to the hardware requirement, so as you can see, RAM 32 GB is must, it is required for the smooth operations. Somehow we can manage in 20 GB as well, but some users also, not having that much of resources. So in 16 GB we can manage, but it is horrible. Like you will be getting bored, means you have to wait for 2 or 3 seconds after clicking here and there. That kind of slowness will be there. So let me edit that slide. Why? Because I have to remove this 16 GB, not required. 20 somehow manage. Yeah, that is fine. CPU i5 or higher with at least 4 logical cores, and storage 512 SSD. It is fine. I always recommend SSD only. HDD will not work. The mechanical drive, it is it will be very slow. No, it will work, but it is slow. Okay, and coming to the software, so Windows Server 2019 ISO Media or 2022 Windows Server, and Windows 10 ISO Media. These ISO Media you can easily get from the Microsoft. And these files, I think I already shared with you, right? These three files.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of basic requirement that what I need from you. So this is just for the introduction perspective. Like this is a first session. We are covering up for the introduction or prerequisites, right? But as you told me, like you are preparing for the interview, right?
Yes.
So basically, look, what I'm planning to do, like from tomorrow, because I can means I'm having one document with me, but I can share that document with you, but it will be confusing for you, right? It will never work. Why? Because you will not be able to understand without any practical knowledge, right? So what I'm planning to like cover the practical things first, and then in the meantime I can explain you that documentation as well. And where it is, give me a minute. Okay, so this is a document actually. So basically, whatever the core components Citrix have, right? Just give me a minute. Where is that? What is showing in that way? Okay. Okay. So, uh, okay. So, so these are the like core components. The formatting is not correct. I can correct it later on. So like delivery controller, the basic definition, it is a central management component for GenApp and Gen Desktop. So earlier it was GenApp, Gen Desktop, but now virtual apps and virtual desktop. So basically, delivery controller, it is a core component for centralized management of the entire data center. That is a basic definition. If someone asks you what is delivery controller, what is database? So database in Citrix, we are having three types of database, which stores the data for each and every component like delivery controller, policies, or machine catalog. Machine catalogs are nothing. It is just a collection of the virtual machines. And delivery groups, it is a groups. With the help of delivery groups, we can restrict users to specific virtual machines only. Virtual delivery agent, it should be installed on each machine. Why? Because it is a communication agent which allows communication from delivery controller to the virtual machines. In the same way, what is the storefront? So basically, storefront, it is a web page. In a simple manner, it is a website for end user. That's it. Okay. And once user lands on that storefront, what it will ask for the authentication, right? And after successful authentication, user will get access to the applications and desktop. Citrix workspace, it is a application for Windows, right? And we have to install that application on every single machine. Studio, it is a management console that allows Citrix administrator to configure or manage the sites to give access to any user. And multiple things are there like machine catalog. So what is machine catalog? It is a collections of the virtual machines or the physical machine. Means if you are having hundred of virtual machines in your infra, so those 100 virtual machines are known as machine catalog. Okay. And basically in Citrix we are having three types of machine catalogs. First one is for server operating system. Server means Windows Server 2016, 2019, right? And desktop operating system, what is desktop operating system? It is Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 11. And what is remote PC access? Basically, remote PC access, it is for the physical machine. Means if you are having any physical machine located in your office, you can publish that machine also to end user over the internet with the help of remote PC access. So delivery group, okay, let me, it's a huge document. I'm not wasting my time on that. So what I will do, let me, uh, let me try to access my lab. Why it is not connecting? 100.100. This is my laptop IP. Just give me a minute. There is something wrong with my server, okay? It is not getting IP address. Just give me a minute. Let me fix that. Okay, now it is connecting. So basically, this is my server.
You're taking it random.
Sorry. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are renting this machine. So
I didn't get
you're
you.
taking rent.
What you were telling?
No, I'm saying you're taking this server rental.
No, no. It's a physical server which is located in my home. Actually, it is my personal
Okay.
data center. Okay.
Okay.
So this is my domain controller only, right? You can see if I open Active Directory users and computers. So this is my domain abc.com, and I have few users here. Only student one is there. I'm having few virtual machines as well. Into the computers, oh, multiple computers are there. Okay. So this is my domain controller, and in my domain controller, I have installed Gen Center. Basically, Gen Center it is a Windows application which is used to manage the hypervisor, the Citrix hypervisor. So on another server, I have configured my Citrix hypervisor as a bare metal hypervisor. Why? Because I directly installed operating system on the physical server. So you can see delivery controller I have created. Let me power it on. Also, I need to power on the storefront and one application server. So basically, storefront it is a URL for end user. I have configured one server as a storefront, and on that server, I have configured web server IIS role, and I created my web page. So right now, I'm just logging into my delivery controller, which is a core Citrix server. And what about the storefront? And if you go to my server, if I go to the memory tab, so you can see I have installed 32 GB of RAM so far in this machine, right? So right now I can create up to 9 to 10 machines with that memory. So right now you can see uh, application server using 4 GB, delivery controller using 6 GB of RAM, and storefront is using 4 GB of RAM. And rest of the memory 2.6 GB, it is uh, utilizing by the hypervisor itself. And this is a kind of screen which looks like when you will see the physical monitor which is connected to my hypervisor. So that complete operating system, the Citrix hypervisor 8.2 version I installed, right? So that complete things are in Linux UI only, right? So you cannot manage the hypervisor with that console. So this is a screen what I'm getting on my monitor, the final screen. So from here you can run few commands, right? You can see the display, or you can see the virtual machines, like how many virtual machines are there in this hypervisor, right? But you cannot create the virtual machines. So to do the same, what I did, I connected my hypervisor to this application, which is Gen Center, and in that application, you are getting options to if you have to create a new virtual machine, just click on the new storage and not storage, new VM. From here, you can select the template. Which operating system do you want to deploy? Windows 10, 11, or Linux, or any operating system, whatever is your requirement. You can select next, next. Then you can select the ISO media from which this virtual machine will boot. So Windows 10, next. From here, it will show you only 14 GB RAM is available right now. So that is fine. Click on next. From here, you can increase or decrease the memory. You can increase the virtual CPU or you can decrease if you want. Next. This is a hard drive. Local storage attached to the hypervisor. If you want to increase the storage, just click on edit and increase it from here. Click on next. Next. And once you click on the create now, it will create the new virtual machine for you, right? But right now I'm not going to create any virtual machine. I'm canceling this. So, okay, a delivery controller is on. So here you can see I have installed all the core components in the single machine, like Citrix Director, Studio, license server, each and everything. Also, I installed SQL server in this machine only. Otherwise, I have to create a new server for SQL database. So this is our core server. So now let's launch the Studio. And coming to the storefront, it's powered on. So basically storefront, in the storefront, we have nothing to do once we configure the server. So that is completely fine. What you can do, you can simply open any web browser. You can ask your end user to open the web browser. And from here, you have to enter your storefront URL, right? So in my case, this is the URL SF-01 Citrix Indore is my site. And this kind of console user will get, right? So now user has to enter the credentials like domain name and username. So let me type test user 01 and user must have to enter the password. So once user click on log on, you can see for this user, test user 01, I have published one desktop. Here it is, HR desk. Okay. User just have to double click on it and it will launch with the workspace. So you will see now user's desktop is launching. So right now I'm acting as an end user. So now user desktop is launching and user can perform the operations, whatever the operations user have to perform on the virtual machine. So that's it. User desktop is launched and user can work whatever the work user want to perform, right? And also user can log off or sign out from here, right? And like power options, I disabled for the user. Why? Because I do not want my user to turn off my server, right? So when user click on the power, it is getting only one option to disconnect, right? So user can disconnect. So now user session is disconnected. Let's go back to the here. So this is the City Studio. It is a GUI tool from where we can manage the entire data center operations, right? So whatever the activities like I performed earlier, right? You can see all those logs are listed here. Like on 9th, I created one HR desk. I created one delivery group. So whatever your engineers is doing, you will get each and every record here. Now, as I told you, machine catalogs are nothing. It is a collection of the virtual machine. So right now I am having two virtual machines. So I created one machine catalog for application server. So in this console, you can see I have two virtual machines. One is powered on and another one is powered off. Delivery group, with the help of delivery group, I have published the machines, virtual machines to my end user. So as you can see, this is my delivery group. And if you double click on it, it is taking some time. Let's wait. You can see the sessions, like how many users are connected right now. You can see the virtual machines. It is loading up. Okay. So if you want to see like that desktop, you can add the users, like you simply right click on it, click on edit delivery group. From here, right now, this particular virtual machine is published to one user only, that is test user 01. If you want to add more user or group, just click on add, search the user from your Active Directory and select that user, click OK. So now, after that, two users will be having access to that desktop. Earlier, it was access was given to test user 01 only, right? So this is how it works.
So this means how many user can access the VM at a time? Is it possible?
Look, for desktop operating system, only single user for single machine, right? But for server operating system, there is no limit.
Okay.
Okay, it's totally up to your hardware resources, like how much network bandwidth your routers can handle, right? To avoid the slowness.
Okay. If suppose one team have 20
Mm-hmm.
20 users, 20
Mm-hmm.
users team.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to create one virtual means Citrix desktop for that team only.
Yes, what you
So
can
is it
do?
possible?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What
Yeah,
you
I'm
can see?
saying is it one desktop? Yeah, you can tell.
Look, If it's totally up to your utilization, means if you have to publish the desktop operating system, means Windows 10 or Windows 7, right? So those operating systems are designed for single user only, right? But if you are having Windows Server operating system, so server operating system you can easily publish to the 20 or 100 of users, right? But if you are using Windows 10 and you are publishing the Windows 10, so in that case you have to create 20 virtual machines for 20 users, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, what we will do, we will cover some practicals for you, okay? Like how to create the delivery group, how to come up with the things, right? Because uh, right now it is not a good idea to put you into the theory part directly, right? You must be having some experience, practical, like hands-on as well, right? Because in interview, the guys will ask you some scenario-based questions. So tomorrow, what we will do, we will create some scenarios, right? But before that, I have to explain few definitions to you, right? So you will be able to understand like what are the components, right? If someone asks you what is storefront, so you must have some answer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tomorrow, what time you will be available?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is weekend, na? So
Yeah, after 10,
after
10 o'clock.
after 10 o'clock, okay, done chalega. So tomorrow I need you for at least 2 hours or 2.5 hours, right? Because we have to cover a few installation part as well, right?
Okay.
Okay, buddy, then.